Emoji face, money on our tongues and money in our eyes. Um, I think for us as creatives and poets, we sometimes struggle with this phenomena, which is now getting consistent sales, and also because creativity at the moment, or even prior before not lockdown, was not really respected. Right? We need to get to a point where we are respected in terms of what we do and how we do it. So I'll kick off the engagement by saying that in terms of sales, we need to have a certain direction in which we are standing in. And that direction sometimes looks like this. I think for me, is that we need to be centered, grounded, and surrender, right? So being centered, as in when you are trying to push a sale, you need to be very hard to push over in terms of where you understand your value. And we've spoken about value so many times in this conversation, but at the point where I just feel like you guys really know where you guys stand in terms of how you guys are centered right now in terms of your value proposition within your business. So you are hard to push over. And the second thing is being grounded. Grounded is in validation to be stuck on the ground, right? As in, if someone now calls you for a sales call, if they wanted to perform, already they have you grounded, because they could have called any other poet or any other creative, but they called you. So you need to be self-validated and grounded in that way, that when someone calls you, you know that, look, I am already validated by being on this call. And the last thing is surrender, is to be empty, but also to give clues. Surrender for me means that whatever agenda you want to push in terms of sales, you have to come in empty. Empty as in you have to listen to what actually the client wants, or what this person or what this manager wants, in order for you to articulate what you can, And it's always good to, number one, once again, back to being centered, understand your value as a creative, so that you just don't jump over anything that comes by, So what I mean also by give clues is that they will actually give you a whole entire proof actually what they want. And if your brand aligns to what they want, it's just easier for you to close the sale. And also what I said the other time, I think it was in Business 101 or Business 102, was that when value exceeds price, that's when a sale is made. So also in you surrendering the things that you have done or become empty to a certain extent, they will give you everything that they want, and it's up to you to align to what they want. And then sales, right? Sales, this is what it means for me, right? In SALES, the A stands for ask. You as a person need to ask a lot of questions, and actually that's where the surrendering comes in, is that you do not try to bring your own facts, but you actually bring in your benefits to how you can help them, and also how they can help you financially, of course. But in terms of sales, we need to ask more questions. What do you want? What time will this be? How do you see me perform? How do you want me to perform? And if that is in line with your own personal value proposition, it's easier for them to pay you for what you're actually worth. So the value of a person, or the value of a creative, is predetermined by the type of questions that they asked. High value questions are how, and then low value questions are how, So you must ask, like, when someone books you, is like, why do you want this event to happen? What is the whole purpose, right? And also, you as a performer, you want to add a certain type of value, which is emotional value, right? To a point where because we've also spoken about this, where it's not just about them paying you the money, it's also for an opportunity for you to heal and express how other people might feel within the audience, right? So think of think of sales as a way of being a lawyer. You know, a lawyer or a plumber asks you the type of questions like, where is it leaking? When did it start leaking? How did it start leaking? Right? Instead of just being an order taker, like being a waiter, you know, in as much as we are here to serve, also at the same time, we need to place ourselves in a point where our creativity is respected in that way. A waiter asks you what you want, and then they just take notes, right? So you as a creative, you need to unlearn that of that taking note. You need to understand what value you going to add in this whole engagement, right? And then in you asking the questions, it is for you to confirm if it's true or not, right? So you need to ask more questions surrounding the idea that you're being booked for, or a certain type of project that you've been booked for, in order to confirm if it's true, and in order to confirm if it aligns to what you are also willing to invest in. So basically, how do you sell, right? How to sell is, number one, you seek to understand, right? Which is called full value listening. Full value listening is basically saying every time you say something to me, it matters, right? If someone is booking you for a gig and they tell you it's in Thailand and you are in South Africa, you need to understand, okay, why couldn't we have it in South Africa instead of just having it in Thailand? You need to understand the way that this person is thinking, whether it be the CMO or whether it being the CEO for that matter. You need to understand their way of thinking, and how you understand the way of thinking is to ask those questions like, okay, why is this event happening in Thailand instead of South Africa? What is the difference then, you know? So that gives you more perspective as to how you can also add value, right? So that you don't just go there to perform South African work, but also work that could resonate with the Thailand audience. So now, once again, you need to do research about Thailand, about, okay, this is the culture, this is what they do, so that you are able to articulate the type of poem that is directed to your target audience, right? So this is basically how you sell. You full value listening, by basically saying that everything you say to me matters, by asking questions and understanding where that idea stems from, right? And for the next part of this, which I will end it off here, is that you and I are going to be doing like a role play, and role playing as in, actually, if I'm booking you for a gig, what what are you gonna say, and what am I gonna say, and we'll see if we can come up with some sort of an agreement.